Welcome to the Deal News Podcast, episode 230 for October 3rd, 2012. Joining me today is Lewis and Lindsay. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Jeff is on vacation or staycation or seeing his parole officer or something. I don't know where he is, but I'm sure next week he'll come back and give us the full scoop on his vacation. So how are you guys doing?
I'm good.
Doing good?
Yeah. This is my first video podcast, so it's a little bit weird, but hopefully I won't get too good.
It is very strange to sit here and look at everybody like when we were all together in New York that one time, sitting in the same room, staring at each other. It was very disturbing.
Yeah.
So it's actually it's at least that was a good primer for this. But it is good to have you here, Lindsay. Thank you for joining us and taking Jeff's place.
No problem.
Yes, I guess we could, since it's close to Halloween, we could have got you a beard or something so that you could have represented him. But good. Well, we do have some mail in the bag, so I'm going to go ahead and read this, and we can discuss what our listeners have said. This one is from our good friend Alex P., and they say, "Hi guys, like you, I've been reading a lot of bashing of the new Apple Maps app, though haven't found any problems with it myself. I wonder if Lewis might have a better result for his test address if he had added New York to Brooklyn. The world truly doesn't begin and end at the Hudson, and the app had no reason to assume you meant Brooklyn, New York versus Brooklyn, Massachusetts, or any other Brooklyn. You also failed to mention that the data and I assume engine, does that make sense? From TomTom? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
From TomTom and not an Apple development. I'd think that's where navigation errors need to be laid. But still no excuse for those missing bridges and cities. Someone at Apple needed to spend a lot more time vetting the reality of the end product. It is kind of funny, though, when Steve Jobs was around, he was being faulted for his secrecy and drive for perfection. Now that he's gone, Tim Cook is being faulted for his somewhat openness and letting a product come to market before it was perfect. Either way, I guess fans and detractors just love to talk about Apple. Best, Alex P. P.S. Temps under 100, yes." Well, maybe temps under 100 where you are, Alex. Here they're still hovering around the 106 mark.
Holy crap, it's horrible.
Dude, it's like living inside a convection oven. Not that I've ever done that in my life. You can just imagine. So what do you think about this? Do you think that, is Alex right? It's like, you really can't please everybody.
Yeah, he brings up a good point, I think, because it's true, when Steve Jobs was around, every single Apple keynote was so secretive. People really didn't know what was going to be announced. Maybe there was a couple of rumors, but no one knew for sure. Ever since Tim Cook took the helm, it feels like we've seen leaked photos, of all the announcements, which kind of like, maybe that's why these new keynotes don't have that big of an impact as they used to, because we already kind of know, like, oh, iPhone 5's coming out. Oh, we already know it's going to look like this. Oh, So it's a little bit more open.
How many products has he been around for? What was the last launch that Steve Jobs did?
The last one Steve Jobs did.
Wow.
Was it the 4S? Or the...
See, I feel like we still knew a lot about the 4S. Oh, well, I guess actually the 4S was a big disappointment because people were speculating about what it would have.
A 5, yeah.
Anything. But, yeah, I mean, it's surprising to me that I don't have the new iPhone, so I haven't used the new Maps, but like it seems ridiculously bad for an Apple product. I'm used to everything working pretty seamlessly, and it just seems really out of step for them.
Right. So do you think that's planned on their part as far as like the leaked photos? You know how you see supposedly leaked photos on the internet as far as new cars are concerned and things like that. Do you think this is sort of part of the Apple marketing machine, or do you think that this is really people being sneaky and being able to find stuff?
Might be a mix of two, I think, because a lot of the time some of the leaked pictures come from their suppliers, like let's say like a Foxconn or someone out in China, not directly from Apple. It seems like, but I wouldn't be surprised if their own marketing departments are leaking stuff intentionally. Just, I mean, like, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt the company.
Well, they don't ever like take legal action for any blogs that post those pictures, right?
No.
They did once, a long time ago.
There was when Gizmodo bought the prototype, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that obviously is different, but I haven't seen anything like that recently. I mean, maybe even if they're not fueling it, I think they probably like that as a form of publicity. I mean, there are sites that their whole existence is based on speculating what Apple will do. So, I mean, it's a really effective way to create a whole character behind your brand.
So what do you think? Do you think that this is kind of an end of all the rumor and speculation that we've seen before a product is released? It seems like there was much more speculation prior to Steve's passing as far as products were concerned. And now, like they were saying with Tim at the helm, there seems to be a lot more information divulged. And I wonder if that's going to have an impact. Well, it probably won't have an impact as far as their sales go, because they could sell, they could put an Apple sticker on a banana and sell, 100 million units.
I mean, the iPhone 5 is already outsold, I believe, in the given period of time. It's already done better than the 4S and the 4. Like, they've done incrementally better, so
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's still selling better.
Right. So I think, I doubt that anything can hurt the Apple marketing machine other than if something really dramatically wrong happens with the phone, that there's such a faulty issue that could blemish their name.
Yeah, I mean, even in spite of all the problems with maps, people who have the iPhone 5 say it's a great phone. No one regrets it so far that I know of. No one's like, crap, I bought the iPhone 5. Everyone, everyone's like, oh, I could get by with the.
Right. Now, are you going to buy an iPhone 5, Lindsay?
I'm not up for an upgrade yet, but I'm honestly, I don't know, I'm wavering. I kind of like the look of Windows 8, but I know. Really? So many people will actually talk me out of that, but I'm also worried about Windows 8 just because if I get it and I don't like it, I can't get a contract subsidized phone again for another 2 years. So
right.
But I don't know. I'm thinking about it. It looks really, really pretty. So
yeah, it does. And from what I've heard, the functionality is really, really nice. I would be very interested to see. Some more testing on it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the OS is supposed to be released this month for the PC, so it should be interesting to see what sort of feedback comes from that.
Yeah, and we actually ran a piece today about big iPhone alternatives if you don't want the iPhone 5, and the Nokia Lumia 920 I guess is getting a lot of really favorable reviews. So maybe when that comes out, I'll look at it. I'm not due for an upgrade though until March, so I got a little bit of time to think about it.
I know. We were talking before we started the podcast. I'm ready for an upgrade, and I want to get rid of my Droid X. And it's like, I was sitting there going, well, do I get an iPhone 5? I don't know. And, I really wanted to get the Samsung S3, the Galaxy S3, and now I just heard that the Galaxy S4 is coming out in January. So it's
I didn't see that.
You can't win. You really can't. So now I'm sitting there going, well, maybe I should look at this Windows Phone 8 now. So it's like I'm just gonna go ahead and get a landline and just call everybody that way.
If you get the Samsung Galaxy S3, definitely wait until Black Friday. I don't know if you remember last year when Jeff got the Droid,
the Razor,
the Razor.
It was $0 like 3 weeks later or something. So definitely hold it off for a little bit.
Yes, and I think he got the Droid Razor, and then 3 weeks later it went to $0, and then a week after that the Razor Max came out.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Which would be exactly the same thing for you, I guess.
I know, exactly. So at least I'll be in good company. We can sit and lament over our spending habits. Now, speaking of the iPhone 5 and product problems, Lewis, you found something. Some sort of glitch. You want to fill us in on that?
Yeah, so a couple of people are reporting that they had a major problem with their iPhone 5 in which whenever they were connected to a Wi-Fi signal, rather than use Wi-Fi, their iPhone 5 was actually using cellular data. And there was no way of them knowing that at all. And then someone checked their, I guess they checked their data limits online, and they were like, "Whoa! I already went through 2 gigabytes of my data in like 2 weeks." And so it turns out that there's a glitch on the actual. They're not sure if the glitch is on the iPhone 5 itself or on iOS 6. But essentially, if you have the iPhone 5 or iOS 6, make sure that you're running the latest version of it. Make sure you've done the latest updates and all that. And keep an eye on your data usage, because you want to make sure that you definitely don't, you're not using your cellular data when you think you're on Wi-Fi.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes.
So what's Verizon doing about that?
Yeah, fortunately, Verizon came out and they said, we acknowledge that there is a glitch, and we won't surcharge you if you went over on last month's bill.
That was nice.
Some people, originally it looked like it was just happening with Verizon iPhones, but now some people with AT&T iPhone 5s are also saying the same thing. To date, AT&T hasn't said whether they're going to let it pass or what they're going to do about it, but it seems like more people are saying that that's also happening on the AT&T version of the iPhone. So it's not just Verizon.
Wow. So AT&T hasn't said either way if they're going to take care of that for people?
Not yet. I'm going to guess that if more people come out and complain, they probably will, because Verizon did that. And you know how the cellular networks are. If one guy does it, the other guy will do the same thing too.
Right, exactly.
So hopefully AT&T will kind of honor that and oh, you know what, guys, we realize there's a glitch. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to surcharge you or whatnot.
So now, did I hear you correctly that if there is a patch to update your phone?
Yes. So basically, you can update your phone either through the phone itself or syncing via iTunes. And once you install the patch, you should be good to go. But even so, I would recommend keeping an eye on your data and your data usage, just to be safe. Better safe than sorry.
Because you just never know.
Right.
Exactly. Well, speaking of that, I was digging around for some news, and I just learned 6 hours ago that Samsung filed a lawsuit against Apple over the iPhone 5. Did you hear anything about this?
Yes.
So the details are really sketchy here. In fact, I'll just read the whole thing from Seoul, Korea on this. It just says Samsung Electronics said on Tuesday that it filed a new lawsuit against the Apple, containing that the iPhone 5 infringed on Samsung's patents. In a statement, Samsung said, "We have little choice but to take the steps necessary to protect our innovation and intellectual property rights." Now, that's all that this article says. I have no more information than that, unless you've heard something else, Lewis?
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty fresh, this recent move. And, I mean, it's just basically a war between those guys. Samsung and Apple going back and forth, suing each other over patents, over, your phone looks too much like my phone. Oh, your OS looks too much like my OS. I mean, I
find it hilarious.
I know, seriously.
It is.
I mean, during the trial, I don't know if you guys followed it much when they were at trial a few weeks ago, I guess, and just the little snippets from the procedures, it was just really funny. And I know that's not what it should be, but I don't know. What are they even? They're claiming that the iPhone 5 is like a certain phone of theirs, or there's not even that many details yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's that many details. I'm going to guess, if anything, maybe they're saying it's too close to the S3 or the S4, which they're working on. I don't know. Yeah. Basically, it says it's it's just violating their intellectual property rights.
Now, where are you finding the videos of this, Lindsay?
Oh, it was people who were, I guess, covering it. I was following it on Twitter, and they'd have apparently very hilarious quotes. The judge was basically calling them out on some of the evidence they were presenting as being kind of not entirely, I don't know, BS. So it was actually pretty entertaining to be reading these transcripts of what the judge was saying to the lawyers in court, kind of calling it a cat fight. That was a little bit silly, but yeah.
It does seem kind of odd that, well, I'm surprised that they don't televise it. I mean, I was thinking back on the OJ case, and they should televise these hearings, and maybe there'll be a slow speed chase with Tim Cook on the freeway or something in a Bronco. I don't know. I think it would be very entertaining. I can only imagine some poor judge sitting up there just shaking his head going, these are the most ridiculous things. Speaking of that and lawsuits and such, Did you guys see where the judge dissolved the 3-month ban on the Samsung Galaxy Tab?
Yes, I did see that.
Did you see that?
Yes.
And it's like, what did he call it? He said it was, I think the judge was actually chastising people in a blog that he had over making frivolous patent suits. It's just crazy. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but can't we all just like get along, like work together, and make some really amazing technology instead of everybody like, you know, holding all their stuff so close and not wanting to share anything? Am I looking at things through rose-colored glasses? I don't know.
Well, I mean, in some cases,
I agree. I mean,
oh, sorry. You go, Lewis.
No, go ahead, Lindsay. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. Well, I was going to say, in some cases, I don't know how you can get around having some similarities between the products. I mean, not every phone can be so drastically different from its predecessor or, you know, its competition. So, I mean, from a consumer standpoint, it seems kind of ridiculous sometimes.
Right.
Like I think one of the patents that Apple was annoyed about was like, what do they call it? The rubber banding, where you're scrolling and it sort of like bumps back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's something that you should be angry about that other OSs use, but I don't know. It just seems a little bit unnecessary to be arguing about.
Right. I think I saw a meme online that said it had a piece of paper, and it had one of the guys from Apple looking at it, and he said, "All right, it's flat, it's thin, it displays text. Where's our lawyers?" You know, because like you said, Lindsay, I think there's going to come a point where there are so many similarities to everything that there's going to have to be somebody come out and put their foot down and say, "Look, these lawsuits are absolutely frivolous." Now, if it's something where it's a blatant copying of something, yes, I totally agree. But
you can't imagine that being like Samsung doing that. It would be, you know, some like no-name Android tablet that's maybe like trying to do, I don't know, some like obvious knockoff. But I mean, a major company like that, you can't imagine that they're really intentionally trying to steal. You know, it would be too obvious. But I don't know.
I don't know. So what do you think this is going to? What do you think this is going to do to the other companies out there? I know we talked a little bit about this last week or the week before, but do you think this is going to put the fear of God into people now a little bit more, where they're going to be so skittish about making something that they're going to have to deviate so far from what their normal design would be, like say for a tablet, to make it so that it's nowhere near a rectangle like an iPad? I mean, like, are they going to have to do like a
circular tablet?
Yeah, a circular tablet, exactly. Something like that. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it might. I think there's going to be a lot of products that we're going to consume as consumers. We're going to miss out on because now companies are going to be, like you said, they're going to be deathly afraid of having big old Apple or any other company for that matter come in and say, like, you know what, your product looks too close to ours, so that's it. It's the end. Right. But I mean, like, this is what I always thought. How many people walk into a Best Buy or whatever store, point at a tablet, and say that's the iPad? Meanwhile, it's the Samsung Galaxy. I mean, it has a big Samsung logo on it. I don't think, you know. That's why I think all these court cases are a little silly, because I mean, each company has their logo on their tablet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. Now, does this get you guys all excited? Are you going to run out and buy a Galaxy 10?
No, probably not.
No, not so much. No, me neither. I can't afford. I can't afford an iPad 1, let alone any other tablet right now.
I mean, I love all of the competition with tablets now, but like I still don't own one actually. I don't really feel the need to have, but I love how many tablets you can get these days that are actually still, you know, really popular, like all the $200 ones.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about that too last time, especially with the Kindle Fire HD coming out, or it's actually already out.
Yeah, I think people started getting it.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of getting too. I'm sitting there going, you know what, $199 or $159 if you get the with ads. Version. Yeah, it's like that's totally attractive to me, and I can put up with, you know, an ad once in a while. But yeah, I just can't see kicking down $700, $600 $400 for a tablet when I can take that same amount of money. And much like today, I think I must have done 5 or 6 deals on super powerful PCs. Now, granted, they're not as light as a tablet, but it just seems like a weird justification to spend that much money on a tablet when you can spend less money on a PC that's got 3 or 4 times the processing power and way more versatility.
Yeah.
So, right. I don't know. That's just me.
It's just cool, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it really is. It does come down to brand loyalty, and anything that Apple puts out, people are going to buy.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. So while we're talking about, well, I was going to try to do a segue about apples to oranges, but I really didn't have that. But I will go apples to gingerbread. I just read today that the most popular Android flavor at the moment is still gingerbread. I would have thought that it would have been ice cream sandwich.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think this is that surprising, at least not to me, because, I mean, it's so... The thing that always struck me about Android is how, like, fragmented the stages are for upgrading to a new OS. Like,
right.
At least with ice cream sandwich, it seemed like there was always, like, every few weeks or months, there'd be like, oh, this new line of phone is now getting it, or this old line of phone is finally getting an upgrade. I feel like most consumers aren't really following that. You know, iOS, it's like, iOS 6 is here, and then everyone downloads it. But, like, if you're excited about ice cream sandwich and you can't get it for, like, another 8 months, then you probably, I don't know, even if you have passing interest, you're probably losing interest in it by that point. So I feel like maybe, I don't even know if those people, I would be curious to see how many of those people are like, have been eligible for it and for how long, and they've just neglected to upgrade or what.
Right. Well, I know for myself, I mean, I'm running gingerbread on this Droid X, and I absolutely hate it. And longtime listeners of this podcast know that I am not shy about ragging on the Android operating system because it slowed my whole system down. It's laggy, it stops, and I honestly think it's a way for them to sort of do planned obsolescence on a phone.
They force you to upgrade. Yeah,
exactly. It's like they're forcing you to buy a bigger, better, faster phone to do that. And honestly, if I could downgrade and go back to Honeycomb, I totally would. Oh, I don't. You know what? I know that there are some hacks out there that allow you to do it, obviously voiding any warranty hitherto unknown to the human race for your phone. But I mean, at this point, you know, my Droid's what, 2 years old? I think something like that. The Droid X, maybe even older than that. So yeah, I mean, I would consider it if I wasn't ready for an upgrade now and looking for something else to upgrade. So I don't know, but it's really interesting the breakdown that they have here of all the different Android flavors, which I still found this interesting. There's still 1% of the people using Cupcake, which I didn't even know. I didn't even know that was an Android flavor, to be honest with you.
There's like 0.1% on Cupcake, and then there's 12.9% on Froyo, which is actually it's a pretty big amount right there. Actually,
Froyo wasn't that old, was it?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it was Froyo, then Gingerbread, Honeycomb, Ice Cream Sandwich, and Jelly Bean, which is the most. I mean, yeah, it's just way too fragmented.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. It's like I was all excited about Ice Cream Sandwich and my new phone, and now I'm sitting here hearing, in fact, we'll just roll into the next story that I had, that Jelly Bean has already started being rolled out.
Yes.
It's like, well, didn't Ice Cream Sandwich like just premiere like yesterday?
It's old. Catch up, Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That's what I get for sleeping more than 4 hours, I guess. But yeah, apparently the One X Plus has now shipped with what is it? Android 4.1, which is the Jelly Bean operating system. I mean, when does it end? Please tell. When does it end? I mean,
never, ever.
It seems like, honestly, the way things are going and as fast as things are rolling out, it's going to be like you're going to have to get a phone every single month to keep up with the operating system.
Yeah. Although I do find it kind of funny that, Google announces an update to Android, be it Jelly Bean or whatever, and then people with Android phones pretty much have to sit and wait until the manufacturer says, like, okay, here's the green light, you can go and upgrade. Whereas Apple, they announced iOS 6, and that same night, their service gets slammed with people wanting to upgrade that, that hour.
Right.
So maybe Google needs to take
I feel like upgrading to different Android OS operating systems isn't as big of a thing because it's just not that same, like, okay, it's a release to everybody, download it immediately.
Right.
It's kind of like, oh, here's Jelly Bean, but who knows when you're going to get it?
Right. Exactly.
Might even be interested in it then.
Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think it's not that big of a deal?
I mean, I understand the limitations to that everyone that's a part of like the Android marketplace has. I understand why it sometimes takes a while, but like I think that's just why. I mean, you can't. It's hard to keep track of. Like I actually forgot that we were past ice cream sandwich. That their Jelly Bean was coming up. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just it's like if you keep promoting, I don't know, iOS 6 for like months and months and months, and like one day you'll get it, people might start to lose interest, I don't know, I think that has something to do with it.
Yeah, I just wonder too if it's not that big of a priority for Google to blow the trumpet on a new operating system. I mean, the word's out there, but they definitely don't have the horsepower of, say, like Apple when a new operating system is introduced.
Well, I almost wonder if it's in their interest to really promote it like all over the place, because if a lot of their users aren't going to be able to get it, and then I don't know, it's like kind of a weird, like they want people to know about it, but if they know that a lot of handsets aren't going to get it in a timely manner, and that might upset people if they really were to get them excited about it and they can't get it for a while, maybe that's also bad. Right,
it would like frustrate them more than get them excited about it.
Yeah, and that was actually one of the things that Google addressed at their last developers conference. They said, like, we want to get to the point where when we release an update to Android, every Android user out there, within the last, who has a phone that's like at least 2 years old, within the last 2 years, will be able to upgrade to it. But so far, they're not quite there yet, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But they are working toward that, though.
Now, that's what's so funny. I remember when I was running Honeycomb on my Droid, and I kept hearing about Gingerbread being released. And at first I was like, well, okay, whatever. But then, it's that nagging thing at the back of your head going, you really do need the latest and greatest. You need to upgrade now. These are the droids you're looking for, that kind of thing. And it's like, now that I've got it, I want to get rid of it. So I don't know whether it's just Google not really wanting to push things like that so that they can send the stuff out to select phones early. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it might be some sort of like Area 51 conspiracy theory, that they just push the stuff out so that it can begin their beta testing on real users all over the place, and then get the feedback so that they can fine-tune it and then start heralding, hey, now it's, Honeycomb patch version 4.9 or whatever it was. Download this now. It's got all these fixes and it's all great. So I don't know, but that's just how it seems to me. Something else that happened this week that actually didn't get a lot of fanfare that I was really surprised is on Monday, did you guys know that the compact disc turned 30 years old?
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Isn't that amazing? It's like, I'm sitting there going, I remember the first CD that I ever bought. I think I must have paid like $29 for it or something.
Whoa!
I know. I don't remember how much it was. It was Bruce Springsteen's "Born in the USA."
That's a nice, good first CD.
It was a great first CD. I bought a stereo, home stereo that actually had a CD player in it, and I thought, well, if I'm gonna have this, I'd better get something to play on it, rather than just say, hey, look at the drawer that goes in and out. That's cool. Yeah, it's not a cup holder like it looks like in your car, but yeah, I remember buying it. But I know it's expensive. I know it was way more than $24. So I'm thinking it was probably pushing around the $30 mark. There might be some people out there that want to pod slap me on that, but feel free. So that brings me to the first question. I mean, what was the first CD you guys ever bought?
Bought or owned? Like I've received.
Well,
CDs
I didn't want to get into your criminal history and say the first CD you stole, but if you want to go there, that's fine.
I don't know. Honestly, I think I got
New
a
Kids on the Block, maybe?
on CD when I was little. Most of my first CDs are not very nothing's I'm proud of. So
Nothing that you feel comfortable with sharing here in front of millions of people. What about you,
Really?
Lewis?
Yeah, I agree. I think my first CD was pretty sure it was an Ace of Base CD.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Which I actually still have. I actually still
Oh,
have.
really?
Yeah.
You didn't
Really?
learn
Does
from
it still play okay? Because we were having a discussion in chat. Hindley was talking about how no CD has lasted 30 years. And
Seriously?
I said, wait a minute, I've got my Springsteen CD and it plays just fine. I mean, yeah, it might have a couple little scratches, but there's no skipping or anything crazy like that.
Yeah, all of my CDs. Well, I mean, I haven't played my CDs in ages, but I burned them all onto my computer, and when I did that, they all worked fine. From my oldest ones to the last couple of ones that I bought, which I don't even remember the last CD I bought was, but yeah, they've all. I've never had a problem with CDs skipping or anything like that. Usually, if you ever encounter something like that, just get like a can of air and dust out your CD player or stereo or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, as a kid, I didn't take very good care of CDs, and so I had a few that like were kind of destroyed. But for the most part, I was holding on to them for so long. Like Lewis, you kept yours even though you uploaded all of them.
Yeah, I actually.
I finally got rid of mine.
Did you really? Did you go
Yeah.
sell them at the used CD store, or did you throw them away?
I moved from Brooklyn into a very very small apartment in Manhattan, and I just did not have the room for anything. And I brought out this huge bag of like I don't know how many CDs, and I hadn't even looked at them in years. And I just was like, I'm just gonna take these to Salvation Army and let them deal with it.
Wow, that was nice.
So. I don't. They might have laughed. I don't know, but hopefully they got some good use out of them. But yeah, I do like looking. I did like looking through them, and it was like looking through like a scrapbook or something because I hadn't bought a new CD in so long that they all like brought back memories.
It was like a little trip down memory lane.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. That's the one thing we were talking. A friend of mine about the demise of the actual vinyl record, and like how cool it was to go down and buy a record because it had this, it was this big, huge carton that it came in, and they always had cool liner notes and, like a poster or something inside, and it really took a lot of work to make, the artwork for that, and now it's like all shrunk down into a little 5x5, and I mean, pretty soon we're not even going to have that. I mean, I love how I consume music now, but there is some of, like, I love Spotify. I love being able to listen to an entire album, like, 8 times before I decide if I like it or not to buy. Right.
But there is a little bit, like, I still, when I was younger, loved to go to the music store and buy CDs and, like, flip through them and everything, and you don't have that anymore, but, yeah, I don't know, it's a trade-off.
Yeah, when I was in college, that was how I actually discovered a bunch of bands, was by going through and just kind of randomly looking through records and looking at the album art and buying it based on the album art. Like that's how I discovered bands like Iron Maiden and Genesis and like way back in the day. But yeah, you're right. It's like it's nice to be able to sit down and on Spotify and sit and go through an album and listen to it 8 or 10 times until you're sick of it, or then you don't want to buy it anymore anyway. But yeah, it's just funny that it's been 30 years since that medium has been around.
Yeah.
Just,
how much longer? How much longer does it have?
I know, that's what's so crazy, because honestly, we were just talking about that too the other day, about how pretty much everything is going to be
digital.
Digital, yeah. You're going to be able to download it.
I feel like it does have an expiration date eventually, but I still feel displeased with some of my digital options. Just like everything feels like fragmented. I have some music on Spotify and then some on iTunes, and I forget what on my iPod, and like, I don't know, until there's like some seamless way to access all of, I don't know. I was actually talking about how I wanted, my friends and I do a mixtape every year at the end of the year of our favorite songs of the year. And I don't have any other way to share it with them other than burn them a CD, really. So I'll keep doing that. But then if there's some way to do that with your media online, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder what... well, I mean, people are doing it now. I know that you can go to a concert and then pay like $40 after the concert and actually have a a digital version of the concert you just sat through on a flash drive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a couple bands that are doing. I know Nine Inch Nails does that. Alice Cooper did that a couple tours ago. But yeah, so I guess that's going to be the current
new
Yeah, I guess so.
the flash drive. Although the
flash drive's the new mixtape.
It doesn't keep the order that you want, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. I guess you have to create a playlist to insert in the flash drive to make it happen.
Well, and then I'll be like, can I have that back? It was kind of expensive.
Here, download this and then give me the drive back.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Well, we're just about out of time, but I definitely want to hit this one. Lewis, what's this about Amazon.com becoming our new liquor store?
Yes, it's actually pretty cool. So according to, I believe it was the Wall Street Journal, they've confirmed that Amazon has been kind of like talking to different vineyards in California about opening up a marketplace where they will sell wine. And it looks like they're expected to announce it next month, I believe. And, for states that can ship liquor, you'll be able to buy your wine through Amazon.
Wow. Now, are either of you guys wine drinkers?
Yeah, I am.
Are you?
Yeah, I am too.
I am too. Would you buy wine from Amazon?
I would if they're good.
Yeah, I would actually sign up for Prime to get my wine from Amazon. I mean, if it works that way, I'm not sure exactly how the shipping's going to work, but I would do Prime with Amazon. I mean, assuming they have at least relatively decent prices, I'd buy through Amazon.
I wonder if you buy it through Subscribe and Save, whether they send your name to Alcoholics Anonymous or something. I don't know. I would buy. Awesome. I think I'm with you guys on this. I mean, I really do enjoy good wine, and it's not something that I'd sit there and take a risk on. Okay, I never heard of Rabid Llama Vineyard, so I don't think I'm going to kick down for that bottle of wine. But if it's something that I like and that I know and is a trusted name, I'd feel okay picking up a bottle or two and having it shipped.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as I know they're I've only ordered wine online once, and I know people in our company love wine.com, but I tried Barclays wine and it was just really crappy quality.
Really? Was it horrible?
Oh, wow.
They were kind of just if you were to try and research these vineyards, they may not really exist. It's just kind of runoff from other. It was not so great. So I mean, I guess it just depends what kind of, if they have notable brands, or if they're meant to be, I don't know, small brands trying to, I don't know, Lot 18 or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'll wait and see and then decide. Yeah,
it'll be interesting though. I mean, I don't think that if Amazon started selling meat anytime soon that I'd set up to buy that. But I would be interested in buying a bottle of wine from them, or any other sort of spirit like whiskey or scotch or absinthe or something like that. If they had it, like you said, Lindsay, I think that's the kicker on this, is if it was from a reputable vineyard, if it was something that I had heard of, or at least something I'd read about, say in Wine Spectator, or had heard from other friends, that I would definitely be willing to do that.
Yeah, I think as long as they keep shipping down to a minimum, or maybe even free shipping, I would totally do it. Because the few times I've bought wine online, I just don't. That's my number one rule. When buying wine online, I don't do shipping. I always do free shipping.
It's really expensive otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's how I'm you know what? If you pay for shipping, that's at least a bottle that you could get extra.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always wait for the free shipping coupon, or for the whatever free shipping sale or something like that, and that's when I'll just stock up on all the wine.
Well, wine.com, I think we just posted a deal where they have it. We listed it as, or compared it to Amazon's Prime. It's there's a deal, $25 for an entire year of shipping at wine.com. Yeah, so maybe they're prepared for Amazon getting in on this, and they're
so they're doing a preemptive strike on them.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's smart. Wow. Well, listeners, if you're going to be buying your wine from Amazon, we would love to hear from you. So yeah, send us a note and let us know how it goes. We're always interested to see how that bottle of Thunderbird or Ripple turned out for you. But yeah, well, guys, honestly, I think that just about does it for this podcast. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting me in Jeff's absence.
Cool.
Yeah,
thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So listeners, for links to today's stories, Twitter feeds, blog links, and more, you can go to our show notes page And feel free to send us feedback letters, love letters, whatever you got. You know, if you want to rant about Apple or any of the Android operating systems, you can send that to podcast@dealnews.com. And if you like what you've heard, you might want to think about going to iTunes or whatever pod distributor online that you get us from, and leave us a note and like us. Give us a thumbs up, a star, whatever option it is. We love to get feedback from you. So thanks for joining us, and next week Jeff will be back with more exciting news from his apartment, I'm sure. And we'll get to see whatever pots and pans are hanging in the background.
There'll be new ones.
The new ones. Hopefully, maybe that's what he did. He went to a Tupperware party or something. So anyway, thanks for joining us, and I'm not Jeff Summergy. Goodbye.